Have you ever sat in your bedroom and looked out the window and thought about what the land that you were sitting on used to look like? Have you ever thought about what had to die in order for you to be where you are in the structure that you are? We're ignorant to it all the time, and even when we become aware of it, we want to ignore it because that's easier. But that's how we got into this situation, and that's how animals become endangered. My name is Shannon. I'm an environmental science major at FGCU, and I was very happy to be able to give back to the things that I love because my passion is herpetology, which is the study of reptiles and amphibians. If you're new to Florida, just take a look around. Notice how many buildings are currently being built and how many clearly recently paved and bulldozed swaths of land there are driving on just about any main road in this area. We are facing a development crisis, and greedy companies do not care about our environment. All that matters here is money, and Florida is being wasted on the rich. If you've lived here for about 6 months or so, you've probably noticed that there is a new massive building on Alico Road. It was recently built by Amazon and is a massive shipping center. Almost a year ago, maybe a little bit more, I was actually standing right off of where that building is now, watching cattle egrets interact with white-tailed deer. I was conducting a behavioral observational study. But that land was sold for $15 million, and 45 acres of habitat were lost. I wanted you guys to see this picture that my friend sent me. He worked at Amazon on Alico for one day. Took this picture of a burrowing owl taking refuge underneath an Amazon semi-truck. Now this owl will live a hard life if it does survive and manage to find a new home. The competition there will be high, but more than likely it will die because it doesn't have a gopher tortoise burrow anymore. I was lucky enough to find a gopher tortoise on campus last year, and it was one of the first ones seen in 10 years, according to Dr. Andrew Durso, who is a herpetologist at FGCU. Now, Miramar Development Company came in right next to FGCU in University Village and cleared 9 acres of gopher tortoise habitat without a permit. They killed and removed native trees and animals, and all they have to do is pay a fine, which reiterates the fact that anything is legal if you have enough money. The animals are suffering because of this. I wanted to bring awareness to what is happening right next to our campus. This is not something that I want to support. This is not something that should go unnoticed or unchallenged. So there's University Village, Tacos and Tequila, Mellow Mushroom, Pelican Larry's, and this is what was just cleared for part 2. And there's the UV apartments over there. This is the same area where I found a gopher tortoise for the first time in 10 years on this campus. And Miramar Development Company just paved it down without a permit, removed native trees, and removed gopher tortoises from their home right next to our campus, guys. Please pay attention. So for those of you who are new to the area and you're living in maybe a newer apartment that's been built within the past 2 to 5 years, I want you to take a look at the chart of the population estimates for Lee County. Now this is straight off of the Lee County Economics website. This on the left side is their population estimates for 2050. And I want you to imagine how many gopher tortoises are going to be killed to support this kind of human growth in the area. So this is not something that's without consequences to nature. We are losing what makes Southwest Florida so special, which are species like burrowing owls, gopher tortoises, indigo snakes. All of those things that you won't be able to find anywhere else in the world, and soon we're not going to be able to find them here. Gopher tortoises have unique habitat requirements. They usually live in shrub areas or open/pine forests. This supports the vegetation that makes up their diet. It also has sandy soil typically, which allows them to dig very deep and intricate burrows. And they also need a forest that is constantly managed by fire And fire is very important because it allows the clearing of the understory for the sunlight to hit the ground and thus the tortoises directly. Since they are reptiles, sunlight is essential to their growth, to how they metabolize their food, to how they reproduce. It is everything to them. So a very special type of forest has to be managed appropriately in order for these animals to survive. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of those places left. And at the rate of development that is happening here in Lee County, the only places that you will be able to go and see a gopher tortoise will soon be preserves and places like the Conservancy of Southwest Florida. This is the only species of tortoise that is found on the East Coast, and it's only one of 3 that is found in the United States, which makes it very special to me. This is a rare animal. Over 350 different types of animals also rely on the gopher tortoises to dig burrows so that they can survive. This is not just about one species, this is about an entire ecosystem that we are going to watch disappear. There is no denying that advocacy and education is an extremely important, crucial part of conservation, but our group wanted to do something more and provide direct service to the animals that are losing their homes. Now we're going to tell you a little bit about the Conservancy of Southwest Florida and how they were able to help us make a difference.
My name is Sunny, and I'm an environmental science major. Our group's topic was Life on Land, which is about protecting, restoring, and promoting sustainable use of land to ensure all species on this planet and their ecosystems continue to thrive. The Conservancy of Southwest Florida's mission is to protect Florida's unique natural environment and quality of life. They are a leading environmental advocacy dedicated to protecting the water, land, wildlife, and future of Southwest Florida. The Conservancy has many departments, providing a variety of services for many ecosystems. One of their branches is a wildlife rehabilitation center called the Von Arx Wildlife Hospital. They treat sick, injured, and orphaned animals free of charge to the finder, with the goal of releasing them back to their habitats. So I had found our community partner by looking at places in our area that had similar goals as ours and came across the Conservancy. After looking over their website, I knew that they were perfect for us since they cared about protecting the environment and animals native to our area. Their goals fit perfectly with our Life on Land goal, so I reached out and told them about how our group would love to help. In response, we were told about how after Hurricane Ian, the Scrope Reserve, which was home to the gopher tortoises, was hurt, and that they had a lot of tortoises in the animal hospital that needed to be taken care of. From there on, we coordinated some dates and got to helping in both the preserve and the hospital. Prior to this project, none of us had even known the Conservancy existed, so it was cool learning about this place and being able to help them. Personally, I plan on continuing to volunteer for the Conservancy because I love helping the environment, and it was a great learning experience.
My name is Holly. I'm 19 years old and currently a sophomore here at FGCU. My passion and my major are psychology. However, I chose the Life on Land group due to my desire to help the community and protect wildlife alongside their habitats. One of the activities our group participated in while volunteering for the Conservancy was the rehabilitation and clearing of habitats for the animals homed there. Hurricane Ian made a huge impact on the environment, leaving many places inaccessible and inhabitable for the animals living here. A great deal of trees, native plants, and food sources were killed by the saltwater we took on. This allowed stronger invasive plants and vines to overtake these habitats, causing further harm to the area. We got the chance to work alongside other wonderful and driven volunteers in clearing vines and invasive species from these habitats. The Conservancy kindly provided us with loppers, handheld trimmers, as well as gloves to protect our hands while working. This was quite convenient as these vines were extremely durable and significantly interlocked with branches on the remaining trees. As we collected these items, we would place them on a large tarp that was then tied together and hauled back through the forest to an accessible spot for removal. The tarp made it much easier to remove the large piles from the area, but it definitely took lots of effort and patience. Still, we made the best of it and even ended up having a lot of fun. One of the invasive species we dealt with is called a rosary peat plant. It is a highly invasive species in Florida that can overtake trees and shrubs, depriving them of necessary elements they need to survive. That's why our team made sure to not only pick up these rosary peas, but any invasive species we found and made sure to dispose of them properly. Clearing these habitats allows for more exposure to the sun, rain, air, and animals, re-establishing balance in the ecosystem and making it more sustainable for animals. I was given the chance to speak to a long-term volunteer from the Conservancy for more insight into the actions taking place.
This is
Susan Snyder.
And what do we do here at the Conservancy?
Well, today we're working on the Gopher Tortoise Preserve. We're clearing out the debris, the overgrowth, and making it easier for the tortoise to get through to get to the food.
How long have you been working here?
This is my 23rd year.
What would you say is your favorite part about the Conservancy here?
I think its mission of trying to preserve what's left of the native vegetation and wildlife. There's so much development, and this is the group that is trying to fight for having that totally destroy what's here.
And why do you feel people should care about this?
Well, the Conservancy purchased this to have as a preserve for the tortoises and put the fence up to keep the tortoises in. But if they can't find food and their habitat isn't very well preserved, then it's not very good for them.
Why should people volunteer for this Conservancy?
It's a great way to meet people. I've bonded with people that I'm still friends with after 20 some years. It's a great way to use your skills and feel good about what you're doing.
And if there was one thing that you would care to let people know, what would be like the one thing you would want to tell people?
Well, someone has to represent the animals.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
And we're representing ourselves very well. We keep repopulating, but we need to think about what we're destroying.
Just as Ms. Susan explained, mass development in Florida is waging war against its ecosystems, leaving innocent animals the victims of human greed. It's time we stand up and raise our voices for these animals. The best way to do so is by volunteering to help save them.
Hello, my name is Andrea Basabe, and I'm a junior psychology major here at FGCU. Spreading awareness about life on land has been very important to me from a very young age, and I love working directly with animals of all kinds. Another activity we helped out with was tortoise grazing at the Von Arx Animal Hospital. For the grazing, we would basically be assigned to a tortoise, and we would take them over to the zoo area. Many of these tortoises had physical injuries that we had to be aware of, so some of the tortoises pictured have shells that are cracked, some have paralyzed legs, so we just needed to be extra cautious of that when we were picking them up or just watching them. We would then place the tortoises in a grassy area that they had blocked off specifically for the tortoises, and we would watch them for around 20 minutes. During this time, we would just need to see if they eat, bask, or walk. We also had a card with the tortoise's number on it, and we would write down the percentages of how much they did either of the three activities on a 100% scale. For example, one of the last tortoises I helped with grazing walked for around 90% of the time and ate for the last 10%. We would also need to write down if there were any differences in the tortoise's actions. So, for example, one of the tortoises I helped with, I just needed to make sure that they weren't having any runny noses or sneezing or anything like that. After the 20 minutes, we would take the tortoises back over to the animal hospital and put them in their flight cages. Flight cages are basically just huge cages full of grass and sand in their burrows, which allows the tortoises to be in their natural environment while also allowing us to keep them in a contained area. We actually have a picture of Shannon and Holly in one of the flight cages. Tortoise grazing is important because not only are they able to have a change in environment, but it gives the animal hospital the opportunity to study the animal's behavior. As Holly stated before, the tortoises were misplaced due to Hurricane Ian, and the main reason why the grazing is taking place is because while their habitat is being restored, they are being held directly at the Von Arx Animal Hospital. I really enjoyed this activity because we were able to work hands-on with the tortoises, which is something not a lot of people get to do.
Overall, our group is thankful for the Conservancy's constant efforts in protecting wildlife and their habitats. We're also grateful for the opportunity to work alongside them in their mission. You will now hear from our remote group member Taylor about her experience and participation in the Life on Land project.
Hey, my name is Taylor Brooks. I'm currently a digital media design major at FGCU. I've always had a compassion for animals and loving anything with fur. This project has only strengthened that love